If when you go to sit down to edit your video, it's either too dark or too bright, you can fix it in post. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to change exposure on your image for your videos in Final Cut Pro 10, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Apple's iMovie. Now, in last week's episode, episode 5, I showed you how to fix exposure in your camera, and ideally, that's what you want to do. Having to fix it in post isn't as good as just fixing it while you're recording. But if you've already recorded and your video is already a little bit too bright, a little bit too dark, you can fix it in the edit. And now in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do it in a few different software programs. But if you're not using one of these, you can watch this, learn the fundamentals, the sliders, the tools, the gadgets you're going to use in each of these pieces of software is going to be very similar to what you're using. So you can get the fundamentals and go from there. First, let's look into how to do it using iMovie. With your clip down in the timeline, click the color correction button that looks kind of like Bob Ross's painter palette. This opens up 3 sliders. The one on the left controls exposure and contrast. The middle one controls saturation, and the far right controls white balance. For now, we're just going to focus on the one on the left. From left to right, the dots control shadows, contrast, brightness, contrast again, and the highlights. Adjust them as needed to properly expose your image. In Final Cut Pro 10, you can get even more control because you can fine-tune it using the waveform monitor. With your clip selected, open the inspector by pressing Command 4. Then, under the Video tab, click the arrow to the right of Correction 1 and click over to the Exposure tab. Next, go to the Window drop-down menu, select Show Video Scopes, make sure the display shows waveforms, and then the channels are RGB Parade. Now you can adjust the exposure controls on the right to get your waveform properly balanced between 0 and 100. I usually adjust the global control up until my highlights are close to 100, then adjust the shadows down until they're close to 0. And finally, what I'm using to edit my videos now is Adobe Premiere Pro, which gives you even better controls, albeit maybe not as user-friendly. With the video clip in the timeline selected, or the original video file in the media browser opened in the source monitor, open the Effects tab. Under Video Effects and Color Correction, select Brightness and Contrast. You'll also want to open the Reference Monitor, which can be done by selecting Window, then Reference Monitor. Once that's open, right-click it, and under Display Mode, select RGB Parade. Next, adjust the brightness up or down until the top of the parade is close to 90. Then, adjust the contrast up a little until the parade reaches close to 10 or so at the bottom. Go back and forth until your parade is centered throughout most of the graph, and you have a visually pleasing image in your source or program monitor. Meaning, don't go too far on the contrast side of things, or your blacks will get crushed and your highlights will be blown out. Now, there's certainly more complicated and precise ways to get your exposure correctly balanced when you're doing an edit on a video, but this will get you 90 to 95% of the way there just by using brightness and contrast. Now, this is the last time I'm going to mention my free book for a while, but if you're still shooting in automatic mode, I highly encourage you to learn what the different settings do on your camera and start shooting in manual. I have a free book called Understanding the Exposure Triangle that you can get at DIYvideoguide.com/exposure, and it will teach you how to use aperture, shutter speed, and ISO and properly expose the image in your camera so you don't have to actually do any of the tips that I just showed you in this video. Thanks so much for watching this episode of DIY Video Guide TV. Remember, episodes come out every Tuesday. You can subscribe either through YouTube or iTunes. And until next time, remember, if you're going to do it, might as well do it on video.